Hey guys, want to welcome you back to the Sensu Pop channel. Today we'll be taking a look at all the secret rares that will be coming out in BT13 Supreme Rivalry. We'll be taking a look at interactions, the ability, the effect of the card, and in the end I'm gonna give a rating to determine how good they are. So if you're wondering which secret rare you should pull on day one, which is worth your money, your time, your effort, are they good, are they bad, are they better than the 3 top SCR we have in the current meta, this is definitely the video for you. So stay tuned to find out. See you guys after the short intro. Hey guys, I want to welcome you back from the intro. Right in front of you, it is gonna be the secret rare for BT13 Supreme Rivalry coming out next month. And yes, they do form a pretty picture together. It's gonna be pretty much a collector's item. If you're new to the Dragon Ball Super card game, first up, I want to welcome you on the behalf of the Dragon Ball Super players community. And second, if you're wondering what are secret rares basically are the most rare cards that you can pull from a booster pack in the game itself, from the set itself. So what is the pull rate? Usually, if nothing changes, they are 1 out of 6 booster boxes. 24 packs in a booster box, so you do the math itself, alright? And they are usually designed to be one of the highest quality of print, the most best looking, and they are usually the most powerful card in the set itself. And how do they balance it? They do have the ultimate tag. You can see every single one of them has this red thing that says ultimate. That means they are 1 per deck itself, and you cannot even put it into your side deck. So side deck and main deck, it's 1 itself. So you really have to choose which are the best ultimate card that you want to put in your deck. Alright, if you don't want to put any, that is also fine, but you definitely gain some competitive advantage if you pick the correct one for your deck. So how am I going to be rating all this card? It is going to be the Dragon Ball system. I'm going to be assigning each of them a Dragon Ball. So 1 star to 7 star, 7 star being the best and 1 star being the worst itself. Alright, so let's go. But before we go and talk about the card, we are going to be saying what are the 7 stars. So let's set a baseline, right? What gets a 7 star? 7 star, the first one is definitely going to be the 3 most powerful and most expensive secret rares that we have in the game right now. The first one, no stranger to everybody, it's one of the newest one. It is going to be Supreme Kai of Time, Space Time Traveler. This is one of the most powerful cards in the game right now, because just for 1 energy, you are able to stop aggression. You stop aggression from unison card, leader card, but not battle card. But it's just for 1 energy, why not? And it's activate battle, so basically it can come out from nowhere. But one of the most powerful thing over here, it's how efficient a board clear she is. Tapping 1, activate main, you choose all of your opponent's battle card, unison card, and remove them from the game. It does not get pass barrier, but you know what does it remove? Very pesky unison card. So if she is already on the board, she cannot be counterplayed against. Of course you can trunks her, but you want to trunks her, they're just gonna tap 1 and play her again. That's the power of activate battle, just for 1 energy, so why not? So when she comes on the board, tap 1, remove her. Of course she is also 40k beat stick, so swing with her, get the 1 damage in, tap 1 and remove most of your opponent's board. It doesn't ignore barrier, but she does really a lot already. Alright, so the second card itself, it is going to be also super powerful and super expensive. Also, it is going to be Baby Hachiek Saiyan Destroyer. This is what people call, if you play blue, if you play a deck that is blue in color, you play Baby Hachiek. There is no discussion. If you want to discuss, you can discuss by yourself. Outside, nobody is gonna care. Alright, so what does he do? He negates the attack for 0 energy. Just when your opponent attacks, you just throw this card onto the board, and then you take 1 card and you throw it into the drop area. That's all. Negate the attack, and that's it. Is just negating the attack? No, your opponent cannot attack anymore. This card game itself, 99% of the win con, it's by attacking. So basically, what is this card? This card just buys you the entire turn. You really need 1 turn to win, and you 1 more turn to win, and you have Baby Hachiek in your hands. You are gonna get the 1 turn. Your opponent just makes the first move, dump this card onto the field, and then take one card, throw it into your drop area, and you have that turn. Your opponent still can do a lot of come into play effect, but it doesn't matter. Your opponent cannot win in that turn. That is how powerful it is. It is also a 40k beat stick though. That means you can swing with this guy and hit him, and hit your opponent, and hit your opponent, and hit your opponent, if your opponent doesn't want to remove it. So if you play blue, you play this. That is how powerful this card is. Alright, so these two are the epitome of defensive option. Blue, you have Baby Hatchiyak, Supreme Card of Time. You can play it in any single deck that you want to. However, do you want to know what is the epitome of aggression? The most powerful SCR right there. It is gonna be Celzino, Unspeakable Abomination, Quadruple Strike, Ultimate Deflect, Energy Exhaust, Successor. What is Successor? That means you don't even have to pay energy. If you have on your board green 2 and yellow battle card that can add up to 12, you take them, put it into drop area, you play this card out for free. You don't even need any energy, and you get a Quadruple Striker on the board. Quadruple Strike takes 4 damage when it deals damage, gives 4 damage when it deals damage. In a game that has only 8 life, this is half of your opponent's life. That's how powerful it is. But if you're gonna play it at 5 or more energy, this becomes a dual attack. Your opponent has to discard 2. So whether are you gonna play it aggressively from the start, or you want to play a little bit defensive, you get discarded a little bit late, it is still a very powerful game ender over here. So all 3 of them do get a proper 7. And of course, they are honorable mention, like for example the new one that is the hero in SCR that comes up from Beta Evolution. That is also a very good one. The thing is about that card, it is cheap, so it is very splashable in most deck itself. Alright, but these 3 are true and tested, one of the best ones in the game that we have in the current meta at this point that this video is making. They all get a 7. So are the rest of these secret rares that is coming out for BT13, how do they stack up against them? So let us take a look at the first one. It is gonna be Robelu Demigra's Secretary. This is a very aggressive this is a very aggressive SCR. So it has double strike, Dark Overwhelm for 8/2. So, and if you have 4 or more energy when this card is played using Overwhelm, play up to 2 battle cards with different card name, energy cost 6 or less with Overwhelm skill from your warp. Don't pick those cards that their ability is tied to Overwhelm, right? But there's just so many options. For example, Man of the Mission, 6 cost, dual double strike critical 20k, and the new 30k Goku and the new 30k Vegeta, both Xeno cards that they come out and they can swing at 30k. One it's a blocker, one it's critical. Just like that, you can, when you play her, you have a 40k double striker and 1 Goku and 1 Vegeta on the board itself that you can use it for Overwhelm. It has a defensive afterthought though, because you can choose one of those cards in your battle area with Overwhelm, you put it into your drop area. When one of your opponent cards attack, you can negate the attack. So if you cannot finish the game with her, with Dark Overwhelm, she stays on the board, and those cards that she plays with Overwhelm stays on the board because you're not playing with Overwhelm. You can use them, minimum 2 of them, to do a negate. So she has 2 negates outside of being aggressive. So this is a very aggressive and defensive SCR. Defensive being the afterthought, aggressive being the first one. It works really well with Overwhelm heavy decks. It does not have any board clear, but Overwhelm, it's kind of like the thing, right? You want to be aggressive. So if you're playing aggressive deck, that is definitely very good. The downside to this is that it is only playable by Dark Overwhelm. That means it cannot be just any card, it has to be black cards to use for Overwhelm itself. So this works really well with Overwhelm heavy decks, and you kind of need it to be working with black decks. Okay, so this is not a very splashable one, but if you're playing with black decks, this is definitely a very good card and option for you. So what it is going to be Supreme Card of Time, the Chrono Keeper. It is the best one for her, because Chronoa has the ability to make your Overwhelm card sticks. So more than just having all this Dark Overwhelm, and if you're playing Man on the Mission, if you're playing the 6-drop Vegeta Xeno, Goku Xeno, you are playing the Chronomars deck. So if you're playing Chronomars deck, Robelu Demigrass Secretary, it is theme-wise in the manga itself. So basically, this is the ones that you want to play. Alright, so what is the overall rating for this card? It is gonna get a 5 out of 5 from 5.5 out of 10 for me. The reason is this: it is very close to 6. It is very, very one-sided. You have to play with a black deck, and you have to be kind of overwhelm heavy. So those decks like Hedgehog and stuff like that, it does not really work well with them. And so it is not generic, it is not splashable, it is very aggressive, but if you use it on the correct deck itself, it is very, very good with the ability to end game with a defensive on the psych node if you can't. So 5 out of 5 from 7 for me. The next one, Sin Shenron Corrupted by the Darkness. How good is this card? Let's do a spoiler. This is the card to look for in this set. Okay, so now I got your excitement. Let's talk about this. 40k blocker, ultimate. All these cards, they don't have barriers, so they are very easily to remove by skill. Alright, so take note of that, all of them. So also tap 1 at the end of the battle with this card is used in a combo from your hands. You get to play this card from your drop area. If you do, choose any number of your opponent's battle card, leader card, unison card, and equal to less than their energy. Ignoring barriers, switch them to rest mode. So what is this about? First up, you need 1 energy for the 1 plus 10k. So it is not like Kai, when you activate battle it plays. No, you need to combo with him with 1 energies, and it has to be from your hand. So boom, comes out and you have to use it from your hand. And then after you combo, after the battle ends, it goes to drop area, you tap 1, this card comes out immediately. Alright, so at the end of the battle, tap 1 immediately brings him out from the drop area. Then let's see, now this effect comes in. If your opponent has 4 energy, what happens here is that you get to pick all of 4 together, right? Leader card, unison card, battle card, ignoring barrier, and then put them to rest mode. So if your opponent does not play correctly, your opponent can end the turn right there. So if your opponent has a double striker, dual, like a 30k double striker, triple striker, dual attacker and stuff like that on the board that they have not swing, or they have not swing with the leader to draw their card, or they have not activate their unison's ability to get a dual attack double striker type of thing, they are gonna be tapped. This card itself is that powerful. Very, very defensive if used correctly. So you cannot just use it mindlessly. Not like Kai, not like Baby Hedgehog. The first one, just do it because you're gonna get the effect. No, you don't do that, alright? And if your opponent plays some cards after that is not affected by this card itself, it's also 40k blocker. Alright, so very, very powerful over here. But this is where the activate main, the 4 energy, is where it differs from the Kai itself. Activate main, if you tap 4 energy, this card gains double strike and dual attack for the turn. So after it being defensive, buys you a turn, shuts down the attack. If used correctly, it becomes a 40k double strike dual attack that could end game. And if you don't think that you can end the game, you can leave it up and it is still a 40k blocker. Try it again the next turn if it stays on the board. It does not have barrier, but most of the cards, most of the SCR except one, which is the Goku, the SS4 Broly, all of them do not have barrier. Alright, so this card, it's a very aggressive and defensive SCR, but it is not mindless. You kind of have to use it. And this card has a drawback. It is a good late game option. If you use it very early in the game, you can kind of use it, but you don't have the energy to use it for the tap 4, and you don't get much from that tapping 2. So tapping 2 in the early game, it's not that much, but for example, if you want to go for the long game, if you have a deck that plays the long game, for example, like Sin Shenron, that you play not the aggressive version, you play a control version, or you play a very control deck, this is definitely the SCR for you because you get a lot of advantage out of it. And this is a very splashable card itself. Even though it is yellow, it is treated as black in most area, but all his effect is not tied to a color, and then even the activation of his ability is not tied to any energy, so you can use it. Very, very good card if the game drags long. So this is a control type of card. If you're playing a control deck, that goes the distance, this is definitely a very good card for you. Alright, this card gets a 6 out of 7 for me. It is still not in the god level when it comes to Xeno, Cell, Baby Headcheck, or Kai, because all of them can be used in the early game and late game, splashable if you want to. Baby Headcheck buys you a turn, not splashable but it buys you a turn, so no discussion about that. This card, very splashable, very defensive, very aggressive, but only in the late game. 6 out of 7 for me. Very good card. Best one in this 3 of them. Alright, so let's talk about the SS3 Gohangs. The last one, Interdimensional Warrior. This is going to be a unison card, and the last one we get wasn't really good. So how is this one? Okay, so for 4 red energy that you can get, for 4 red energy, you get to play this card for 4 marker. Ultimate dual attack, blocker, 25k dual attack, blocker, it is always good. So when this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle card ignoring barrier and they get minus 25k power for the turn. This card has a board clear ability. The first 2, not really. This one, you have it. When your opponent attacks with a battle card, you may choose it and it gets minus 25k power for the turn. So it does not shut down a turn, because a unison card you cannot play during your opponent's turn, you can only play during your turn. But when you play during your turn, you get a very powerful board clear, and when your opponent swings during the next turn, you get that +1 marker. Take note, even though it didn't say that this is once per turn, because it is a marker skill, it is once per turn. So you can choose and say, okay, that's the one that you want to minus 25, or you can choose it whatever you want to. Alright, and it's -4, it's when this card becomes a monster. This card gets 15k power, triple strike for the turn. At the end of the turn, switch this card to active mode. So 40k dual attack, triple striker, -4 and 25. You can tap 5 and immediately go for the -4 if you want to though, if you want to. However, if you don't want to, you can basically use this card and just make sure you get the +1. You cannot get +1 during your turn, you can only get +1 during your opponent's turn. So getting a +1 is very difficult, and because it is being an ultimate, you cannot stack cards, stack more of them, right? You're gonna get disqualified by the judge if you are that rich anyway. So basically that's that. That is why I really think that this card should be paired together with the Bardox. You know, I think it came out in BT11, Series 11, the Bardox, that just give 3 marker. So imagine you play this card, it is a blocker, so it buys your turn, it board's clear, so your opponent needs to kind of set up their board again, and it has a very good defensive +1. If your opponent managed to get it down to 2 marker in the next turn, you just play the Bardox, give this 3, that Bardox SR, give this card 3 markers, do a -4, and they have to deal with a triple striker 40k dual attack at the end of the turn. Is this card good? Let's say, let's do this first. Aggressive and defensive SCR. Aggressive in the way that it has a very aggressive ability, and the board clear, it's always very good. In this card, it's extremely difficult to remove. It does not have barrier, but it has 4 markers. And if your battle card were to swing, it has 5 marker and 25k. Let's be real, it's gonna be very difficult. It is the most difficult one to remove of all the SCRs, okay? This is extremely powerful board clear because it does it in the mechanics level. What do I mean by that? Minus 25k ignoring barrier, it get past indestructible, it get past a barrier, it get past things that says that this card cannot be KO'd by skill, or this card cannot be removed from your battle area by skill. It get past all of them, because by the time they check, they are already in the drop area. It is a little bit too late. So this is on a mechanics level, very powerful board clear. So very interesting. What cards, what decks do you have to play with though? I have not seen the red BT13 cards. I'm not kind of interested in them, I'm so sorry. But then what about the ones that has been around? Of course, it is going to be Pilaf and Kula. Pilaf can give this card becomes a quad, 40k triple strike quadruple attacker. So Pilaf has the ability to do that. And Kula Revenge Transform has the, when everything gets minus barrier, they get to meal, and every single time they swing, they have to meal. And of course, it has the ability to end game just for Kula. And both decks, Pilaf not so much, but Kula you want to play for the longer game. So it really benefits like a decks that plays for the longer game. Alright, so ultimately, what do I give for this one? it is going to be a 5.5. It does not get a 6, but I think it's closer to a 5 than to a 6. Okay, when it comes to Robelu, it is closer to a 5 than to a 6, but I would just want to give them a shadow of a doubt that they might be good in a certain deck. So if you're playing one of those decks that benefit this ones a lot, they're definitely well designed though. So I don't want to give them and said, okay, give them a shit just because they are not as crazy as the ones that are at 7, God level 7, God tier 7, alright? So basically this gets a 5 out of 5 from me. And the card that you want to get is definitely Shinron. That would be the money card. However, it is basically very hampered by, if you're playing the longer game, that is definitely a good deck for you. Any decks that plays the long game, Shinron is a very, very good SCR to get. Alright, so thank you guys for staying for this explanation. This took quite some time, but I hope that it really helps you to helps you to understand what are the SCR and what do they do. All right, so so I would like to hear from you guys, because down in the comment section, please let me know, what do you think about this SCR and which one do you think is the better one? Is my assessment correct, or I'm so totally wrong? Please let me know that also. All right, hey guys, I wish you guys to stay safe, have fun, and stay lovely. See you guys in the next video. All right, ciao, bye.